Dr. Alba, 24 Eagles Nest Terrace, Narragansett, Rhode Island. Thank you, honored council members, town manager, and all dignitaries. Throughout the years, Narragansett has experienced dissension and disagreement amongst its council members and residents on such issues as the library and rentals. We are blessed and privileged to live in one of the most beautiful seaside communities in the world, so let's work collectively to fight for what is right. An overwhelming majority support our fight to prevent Procaccianti Developers from creating a massive street-level parking lot in our world-renowned fishing port. If this proposed development was allowed, it would have driven more people out of Galilee and into Block Island. Ironically, while we are fighting Procaccianti in Galilee, the town is attempting to put 170 parking signs along the pier to make a day trip to Narragansett more problematic. In addition, any additional signage along Ocean Road will forever take away the natural unobstructed view of our ocean. Our town manager mentioned there will be some discussion on sign pollution. We support the idea of replacing the existing signs with new signs along Boone Street and similar roads that will allow those without a parking permit to park on those roads. That is a business-friendly initiative. I have been reviewing the latest legal briefs by Procaccianti Developers, and they've been filed in Superior Court. In the latest amended motion and legal brief filed by Procaccianti Developers' legal team, they delineate their rationale as to why they should be able to retain their lease and why the town of Narragansett was unjustified in ordering them to demolish the Lighthouse Inn. After substantial public outcry and a demonstration to take Procaccianti Developers out of Galilee, the RIDM stated it has terminated its lease with PRI X. The town of Narragansett and its building inspector, Wayne Pimentel, put PRI X on notice for the need to demolish the Lighthouse Inn Dutch Inn. PRI X is now answering back with its rationale to retain its street-level parking lot lease. PRI X is now filing suit against the town of Narragansett, and our town is requesting PRI X to demolish its building. One still needs to ask, why hasn't the town enforced its zoning requirements, and why has the RIDM not issued a cease and desist order to PRI X to cease operations of its street-level parking lot immediately? For this year, 2023, PRI X has continued to operate its street-level parking lot while its lease has expired. Why? Why is the town of Narragansett not fine PRI X for failing to demolish its building? While the letter written by our town building inspector was well written, it clearly notes the building is a health, safety, and environmental hazard. We now want to know if there is any accountability for PRI X for failing to comply with our town's justifiable request to demolish their abandoned building. PRI X contends the RIDM has continued to accept checks when the hotel was abandoned, so it must have condoned the hotel being abandoned. Therefore, PRI X argues if the lease was enforced for years before, how can it terminate the lease now, as they have been complying with the paying the taxes, having insurance on the building, and complying with some of the other requirements by the RIDEM? It then argues that
Thank you, Dr. Alba.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Next.
Jim, can I ask a point of clarification?
Could I just interrupt for 1 second on that? Keep in mind that the negotiations between the state and DEM on the demolition process have not been finalized yet. It remains in litigation.
I also wanted to ask, are there currently plans to put 170 signs on Ocean Road by the town?
No. not
Thank
at
you.
all.
Next on the list.
Catherine Canavan.
Hi, Catherine Canavan, 190 Clock Road, Narragansett, Rhode Island. Thank you for listening. It then argues that the town of Narragansett does not have the authority to order the building to be demolished, as the hotel is not owned by them and it is on state leased land, so it is outside the jurisdiction of the town. In addition, it adds, since the building is on leased land, the zoning by the town is not binding, so they are not required to have a special use permit, nor are they required to comply with the zoning. The above arguments by PRI X can be answered as follows. At Zoom meetings, PRI X put forth proposals because it felt if an acceptable proposal was not reached, their lease would be terminated. Why would Procaccianti Developers entertain and spend hours attending the Zoom meetings if it felt it could continue to retain its parking lot lease regardless of the proposal submitted? It is evident that the RIDEM and PRI X generated an RFP to see what the best use would be for the 5-acre parcel. Having continued street-level parking on 2 of the lots in the 5-acre parcel was not a goal or objective for the proposal submitted. Why would PRI X even entertain generating an RFP if they felt their existing lease was valid and could not be terminated. In addition, a rubric was generated to rate each proposal submitted. The RIDEM PRI 10 were critical of the town's proposal with respect to the proposed residential housing, as it noted. Residential property is not aligned with the area uses, nor is it mentioned in the town's comprehensive plan related to the commercial fishing port of Galilee. Yet the legal brief, PRI 10, notes the town has no control over zoning on state leased land. Clearly, having continued street-level parking is not allowed with the town's comprehensive plan. The RIDEM and PRI 10 the RIDEM gave PRI 10 a 180-day extension to its previous 5-year lease, as it believes PRI 10 or another developer may put forth a viable plan for the 5-acre parcel. So the lease was extended for 180 days, and PRI 10 was a holdover tenant. PRI 10 did not argue that an extension was not needed. Dr. Alba requested to see if a lease extension was granted via an APRA request, and the correspondence noted a new lease was not awarded to PRI 10. In addition, as Attorney Landry noted, PRI 10 LLC breached and defaulted on its lease by failing to maintain its property and failed to continue to operate a motel and restaurant business on the RIDEM leased land. Attorney Landry also noted PRI 10 will be liable for demolition costs, legal costs. Let us hope the town also will motion to courts for PRI 10 to pay all legal costs associated with defending itself.
Thank you.
I just wanted to note.
Time's up.
Yep, I just wanted to state that I know there's no plans just yet for signs, but we just want to reiterate.
Yes,
don't
we,
want the
thank you,
signs.
thank you. Next,
Ms. Anna
Mr. Chair.
Branca.
Finishing Dr. Alba's statement, Anna Frankar, 19 Earls Court, Narragansett. The State Properties Committee never voted to renew the lease by PRI 10 and the RIDEM. Therefore, the contention by Procaccianti Developers that PRI 10 could retain its lease or that the lease was extended another 5 years is null and void. PRI 10 falsely stated that they did not own the building. The property record card shows PRI 10 as the owner. In the latest legal brief dated 8/11/2023, it was noted PRI 10 is not the hotel owner of record of the property or the owner in fee simple absolute of the motel. PRI 10 says the town of Narragansett does not have the authority to order its company, Procaccianti Developers, to demolish its building. In the Rhode Island General Law 25-24-34, Section B, it notes a city or town can enforce zoning that complies with its comprehensive plan. Case law shows the state supremacy law cannot usurp the powers of a city or town when the town acts to protect its residents. We need to play hardball and not softball. Let's have our legal team join the fight collectively with the RIDEM and the RIAG's legal team. We cannot, as residents, be kept in the dark. Our elected and appointed officials need to be transparent and expose corruption within our town, so those who are culpable will be held accountable. United we stand, divided we fall. Let's work at making Narragansett the most welcoming seaside town in the nation and not the most unwelcoming. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next on the list.